Good morning.
Good morning.
So, thank you for being flexible with the timing. I just had a lot of craziness earlier this morning. But basically, what I wanted to do is I know we've been in the process of looking at student work as a department, and we've been looking at what they're actually producing on paper. Now, I wanted to take a step back because we have this really interesting data point that is the T2 final. And I wanted to kind of just take a look at it and frame it in certain ways, right? I want to celebrate some of the things that are definitely going well. I want to try and attribute a root cause to them. Then I want to look at some of the things we might want to change based on the numbers and attribute a root cause to those as well. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to pull up that document that I
got it.
reshared with you on Wednesday night. What's it called, Stace?
Copy of SY 16-17 Science T2 Finals.
Perfect. Awesome. You got it, Karma?
Yeah?
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just, my computer was shut.
Yeah, sure.
And you restarted
Do you want me to reshare it with you so it's in your inbox?
I think I have it.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. So the way I have it sorted now is from highest to lowest, okay? And just a couple of conditional formatting things that I think are worth noting is anyone who got above an 80, I put in green. Anyone who got between a 65 and a 79, I put in yellow because they're passing, but we need to make sure that we keep pushing them. Anyone who got between a 61 and a 64, I put in orange because I think to me this is like a huge focus group for us because they're right there. And we just want to make sure that we can push them over the edge. And then anyone who got below a 60 was in red, okay? So what I want you to do is the following. Take 2 minutes to just kind of look through, let's make it 3 minutes to look through the data, and I want you to pull out 2 surprises, right? And I want you to actually name the kid. 1 surprise in a positive light, and 1 surprise in I thought they were gonna do better, okay? Cool. You got yours?
I got it.
You guys both good?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, beautiful. Whoever would like to start. One thing that's just interesting to me is, please tell me the name of the kid, but also if you could just give me like a sentence of why it surprised you either way. Okay, so whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. Andrew George is a pretty bright young man, yet distracted. And he's one of the top performers in T2, and he got a 40 on the final. So he got the same score that Serginio got. And Serginio is a very distracted, lack of connection type of kid. So for a very bright kid and a lack of connection kid to get the same score, that's surprising. I was pleasantly surprised and so proud of John James. He got a 64.9. He has been struggling to keep up. Yet he was one of the higher scorers. So I think that there's potential there. I mean, he's that close.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my two surprises.
Thank you.
I had Oren Felix.
Mm-hmm.
He got a 75.
Mm-hmm.
Very much surprised.
Uh-huh.
He's in period 8, which is a difficult period for
Uh-huh.
most kids, but
Uh-huh.
he got a 75. And I think he didn't copy anything. I think he actually did get it.
Mhm.
He earned it.
Mhm.
Just talking to him after the final.
Mhm.
Same period 8, I have Anne
Mm-hmm.
Tanyan, which is the highest performing period 8, but she got a 47. And I just think her focus has changed in the last couple of weeks. So
Mhm.
yes, I spoke to her yesterday about that she's not as focused as she used to be. But she's one of the highest performers and she got a 47.
Okay. So one thread I hear from both of your not pleasant surprises is this idea of students performing very well in class and having deep content knowledge in chemistry, but then that not translating to the final, right? So I would like to, because I think we pulled out 2 kids, but my guess would be there's probably 15 to 20 that might not be as extreme, but that would fall into the same type of category, right? They get it during the day, during the formative assessments, during the check-ins, but then when we have them sit for a test, it doesn't translate. So my question to you, and there's no one right answer, but I think it's important we have a little dialogue about it, is what's the root cause behind that?
Well, I think, personally, I always try to get it back to me. I think I didn't really do a targeted review.
Okay.
And basically it was, we spoke about that, but I think we didn't do a targeted review, and I was trying to get a sense of where they are
Mm-hmm.
to also where they are. So based on what I see, I'm pretty encouraged by what I see, because had we just targeted that review, I think, to that test, or more like, not necessarily to the test, but a targeted review, I think they would have done much. I think a person like Andrew George would have done a lot better.
Okay.
But, and yet we did do 4 days of review.
Yes, but I think even the last 2 days for period 7 and 8, we did these readings and stuff. We didn't do readings. But what we have done now, what to do to remedy that, what we're doing now, we're making the lesson over a 2-day period now. The lessons are over 1 day anymore, it's 2 days.
Uh-huh.
So we do the activity on the day 1, and next day we do the same concept, but we do like Regents questions, we do other questions just to reinforce and I think it's working. And Fridays, we cover the homework, which is a previous chapter from maybe last September.
Okay.
So I think this week it worked pretty well. Yes.
I also think that the attitude in terms of chemistry is some of the kids feel like, and they've expressed this, that they don't have to work really hard because they have their science region.
Yeah.
Okay? So
they're in the class for the credit?
Great.
they're in the class for the credits, and they feel like they have their science regent. So then when we do focus on regents questions, they do some pushback because they feel they're not going to need this.
Understood.
So I think that also is one of the underlying causes. I think that by Friday, after taking taking finals and science being the last final, I don't know if that had an effect or not. But I know I thought that there were kids who were burnt out by Friday when it came to test taking. So I mean, I think that there are a lot of things that go into these scores, but I think that the way that the week got changed, some of our kids are not as flexible, like when we added the afternoon.
Oh, sure, yeah, that Tuesday mess, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I
I think discounting that would be foolish, right? Like that week was crazy. Let's just
Yeah.
throw that on the table.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying about the regents is a very real concern, right? Like
Yes.
some of the kids are seniors that are in, especially that 8th period class. I think they have a little bit of senioritis. I think like these are all things that are very real.
Yeah, and that doesn't only happen here. I think for chemistry, it's the last regions. Most kids already have the science region. It's not a very easy class.
It's
either.
difficult
Difficult,
content.
yes, difficult content.
As
So,
I've
that's something
figured
that
out is
happens
trying to
all over
follow
the city.
along.
Yeah, all over the city. So it's not just here. It happens
Yes,
all over the city.
absolutely. And the one thing I would just push you both to consider is when I've come in over the last 3 weeks, I've been so impressed with your ability to get kids excited about chemistry, right? And I think the way you're doing that is by contextualizing it and making real life connections to what they need to do, right? So I think if you consider that moving forward, I think that will keep engagement for kids who don't want to just be prepped for the regions.
Yes.
But B, I personally would argue, and like research would back it up, that the deeper you go in the content and the more contextualized it is, that's actually the best possible review.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying we don't need to kind of teach them how to read through complex questions and annotate things like that. But them falling in love with chemistry and learning deeply about a specific topic will be the number one thing that will support them in the regions. And it's almost like 2 birds with 1 stone, because it will keep the kids who already have their regions engaged in the content. And I've seen that when I've come in the room, right? I've seen kids completely engaged in that hand warmer and foot warmer exercise, right? So I think that's a very, very important takeaway, and it's a really strong noticing by you guys. Cool. My next question after the surprises is I just want to take a look at how students performed on multiple choice versus short answer. Okay, so what you would do to look at that data on this document is if you look at column G, that is their multiple choice score. Okay, if you look at column L, that is their extended response score. So just for example, Sheila, I always mess up her last name, Galal, she got 81% of the multiple choice right, and then 12% of the extended response scores, right? So that tells a very real story there. There's other kids that have discrepancies, not as deep as that, but I would just like us to take like 2 minutes and kind of look at the multiple choice versus the short answer, and then let's have a discussion about why we're seeing what we're seeing and then why we're seeing it. Okay? You guys good or you need more time?
No.
Okay. So what are we seeing? What are some of the trends or patterns we're seeing here?
To me, I look at the multiple choice and it seems, and that's just based on my previous experience in schools, and is that they seem to have retained some stuff, right? So if they, and memorize some things. So if they see it, they can actually pick it for you. The extended response, I think, is more, they need more practice, and they need, especially in the activity, I think they need to be able to at least make conclusions as to what they do. I think if they can strengthen that, I think some of the extended response questions will be a little easier for them, because it's, sometimes reading, just reading a passage and having some knowledge of science too, but it's just reading from there, trying to figure out what it is. I think they know some of the concepts, but it's just picking it out from that, what they have to do.
And you were saying that a lot of the short answer responses were close.
We're close.
Like that they had the response, they had the concept,
Yes.
but they didn't phrase it
Yes.
properly.
Yes.
So when we were grading the short answers, you made that comment many times. So that says to me that they have the concept,
Yes.
but again, the sophistication of knowing how to appropriately answer
Yes.
the question.
Wow, you guys are doing my work for me. Because that leads exactly to what I want to do next, which is let's account for that, right? Like let's come up with some sort of formulaic way that we want kids responding to chemistry short answers. Does that kind of address the problem that we're seeing?
Yes.
Yes, that particular one that I discussed, yes.
Right. So what would be a possible format of, like, how would you like a scientific answer to be formatted in a chemistry classroom?
Me?
Either of you.
I would like it to be stated as a complete thought instead of phrases. I would like the chemistry answer to show reasoning, explain their thinking. So yeah, I'd like a complete thought with an explanation of, their reasoning behind their answer.
So I don't know if you guys are familiar with any of these acronyms like RACE or RATS or any of those things. They're just formulaic ways that students can format their short answer responses, right? So one that might make sense, and I mean, like, I've also seen for high school, so it's not as like kiddish, just like claim evidence or claim evidence reasoning. So just everything they say, they make a claim, they provide the evidence, and then they explain why they said it. So now if we take
So that would be like DSET.
Exactly like DSET, and I would push you to use DSET because hopefully we can, make that more universal throughout the classes. But I think one thing that you probably want to do with DSET is model how to do that with a very easy, already taught topic, or maybe even a topic that's not related to chemistry, right? Just a topic so they can understand how to format a short answer response in a science classroom. Then, as you can, like, just maybe every exit ticket you ask them to write in DSET. Because I think the point you make is a very, very valid one. It's like the information's in their heads.
Yes.
We just need to help them get it from here onto the paper, right? And is that what you were kind of alluding to as well?
Yes, that's what we saw
Right.
with the short, the extended responses.
So let me just also commend you both for being so reflective as you were grading. I think it's really nice to come to this meeting with you guys have done so much of that intellectual work, so I really appreciate that from both of you.
Yeah, it's just that, and they were, I know they were not writing off, or they were not leaving it blank. They were attempting to write an answer there.
I see that too. Very few people got 0 of it,
Yes,
right?
yes, and they, but I know they think they know what they were doing, and but it's just putting it down on paper to give me the right answers.
What's that tell you about the changing culture of this classroom that I saw actually none, but I didn't go line by line. That very few of the kids got 0 out of 8.
It's because I think we demand a lot from them. We do demand a lot from them.
We're working really hard.
Yeah, we do demand a lot. We do demand that the answer is down. We go around, we make sure that everything is down. And they like the environment too, so they work for that. And I think it makes them feel like chemistry too, like they're learning chemistry too. It's a difficult concept, and they feel good about themselves too.
Yeah.
So a lot of them participate. And even this morning, we had a few things, but at the end, like Romel, like Romel is very smart, and he was picking up answers and things for him. Even the 8th grade then, a lot of them are coming together and really putting things together.
And you know what also, I mean, it's tangential, but those kids know that we care about them. And then when I get upset with them, they get upset that I'm upset with them. And I was flipping with them this morning. But that the relationship, we've built a relationship with these kids that it matters what we think.
Right. The only thing I would push back against with what you said is I don't think it's tangential at all. I think the
Okay.
relationship in the environment is clearly reflected in these scores.
Yes.
Okay.
They care, right? There's a certain amount that they want to do well, right?
And they care.
That's something that we definitely,
And we are not having too many absences too. That's what I noticed. The kids are almost always here.
right?
And I think they like being here too.
I think
They really like being here. I really
they're
see it.
coming into a structured classroom. They know there's expectations of them. Yeah, I mean, change doesn't happen overnight. We planted the seeds, and now we just need to keep watching the plant grow. So, I think, don't be too discouraged by this data,
No.
because to me, it's shifting in the right direction. I'm not saying we don't have work to do, we do.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the hard work that you put in, now it's really, we're starting to see it flourish already. From the classroom visits alone, let's take a step out of this data. That's data too. The classes are engaging. The classes are learning about chemistry. So things are definitely moving in the right direction.
And another thing that we did this time, which you had said, was when we reviewed for Final One, we basically gave them the questions, we reviewed the specific questions, and then for the final, we mixed them up. We didn't give them the questions this time. Okay,
Right.
we reviewed the concepts, but we didn't review the questions.
That's good.
And they were able to apply more. So I think that's also, a plus for you in that, that we felt more comfortable with how we were teaching, that we didn't have to stack the deck,
Plus,
so to speak.
Right.
plus we always at the end of each class, or even in the middle of a class, we will evaluate what's going on and what we have to do for next time, or what we should have done for even tomorrow or 7th period. Because 7th period is difficult after lunch class. They do come in.
Right.
It's a little time for them to get settled in, but once they settle, they go. And it's because we have everything going,
So I just want to be respectful of your time. So I want to move on to the next thing, which I think is very, very connected. I would like for each of you to pick 3 students who are not in either yellow or green, but we think should be in yellow or green, and really make a concerted effort over the next 6 weeks to check in with them on a daily basis. It doesn't need to be a 5-minute sit down, but a minute, just giving them a little pep talk, really taking ownership of their support or of their growth in this class.
Okay.
So
Romel is on.
I just I mean, I'm looking at some of the kids like Malika, Michael,
Yes, Michael Cunningham and those guys.
Meiji,
Yeah,
who are
Meiji.
good students
Azad.
in the classroom and did rather poorly.
But as I said, as you said earlier, as you attributed to earlier, I think it was the structure of the week. I think by that time they were just now.
Sure.
I really believe.
I'm gonna
they
keep
have
in
done-
touch with. I'm gonna keep on John James.
Yes.
John
I'm
James? Cool.
Yeah, I'm keeping on top of him.
Awesome. Get him.
I will.
You got two others?
Do I have to? I've been working well with Corey.
Okay.
I've been working well with Corey.
What's Corey's last name?
Harvey.
Corey Harvey, right?
And for me, I'm looking. I take this seriously.
Good. You should.
I think we can move Averill. I think we can definitely move Averill.
No, he's not in the class anymore.
Then we can't. Sorry. Oh man, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Son, can you step out, please? We're in the middle of a meeting. I did.
No, you did? All right, thank you.
No
You
problem.
see the actions of these all right. You see the actions of you guys?
We can talk to Bonnie.
I'll take on Edward. Edward
Big
Westwood.
Ed?
I'll take on Edward. I got him to get glasses. He finally got glasses.
He's wearing glasses in class?
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Good.
I'm getting Edward.
Good.
Okay, for me it's Romel Jones,
Good one.
Malika, right?
What's Malika's last name?
And
Bubo.
I spell it.
B-A.
B-A-U-B-A-I-S.
And she's the one who sits in
Yes.
that table in your third grade.
that's
She's
good.
bright.
Oh, yeah, she is.
She's
She
a
is.
bright young lady.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
very bright. And you said you had Michael Cunningham? No, I'll take Michael Cunningham, I think.
No, I said that
Michael
Cunningham.
Cunningham.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think, yeah.
Great.
He's more
I just want to ask one more
Yeah,
thing
let's do it.
about the data, because this is bothering me.
Mhm.
Sheila,
Yes.
okay. Did she have extended time? Did she make you so that,
Because you're wondering why the discrepancy there?
because
Mm-hmm.
the one out of the 8,
Right.
that bothers
I
me.
mean, how you get 25 out of 31 and then 1 out of 8.
Right, I'm wondering if she had used her extended time.
I can check in with her. I'll check in with her and see.
Because
I'll
she's
look at that.
repeating.
Yeah.
She's repeating chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and she's made major gains.
Mhm.
But I know that it takes her a long time to process.
Mhm.
So I'm just curious
Yeah.
about that.
Okay. Cool. So I just want to wrap up our next steps because you named them when we were talking about the data, but the most tangible next step is the 3 kids that you outlined. Just, kind of check in with them, stay on them, take ownership of them. And I honestly wholeheartedly believe that will spill over, right? Like you focus on those 3 and then other kids will see that too and they'll follow suit. I think one thing we discussed is trying to push away from the strict Regents review and really teaching the content of chemistry in a way that's engaging to all, so we don't lose the kids who already have
Yeah,
their
that's it.
Regents.
Yeah, we've gotten away, we've gotten
Yeah.
away from that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we just know we have to be, so we
Yeah.
have to address some questions like that, but we've gotten
Right, exactly, and I'm not
teaching
saying
concepts,
abandon it
Regents,
completely.
yes.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
And then the third thing I heard you say is they have the knowledge in their head. We need to help them put it on paper. So I heard you mention DSET. And just kind of making sure that there's opportunity for kids to see DSET modeled, and then for them to independently create their own DSET response to questions. And I would say you could probably get that done on a daily or every other day basis so they really get familiar with it. So this way, when they're posed with a short answer question, they're not freaking out about how to format it, and they can focus on the content that they know. How's that sound?
Yes.
Cool. Questions, concerns, feedback, ideas?
Yeah, so you're saying maybe we should include maybe like a reading like you did last time from the book on the answer to the questions on it maybe? Towards
To
the-
do some more, so that I think that they need to do more reading-based questions. Even yesterday when we were doing the common acids and they had to write the formulas for the common acids, the acids were written straight in there and they were like,
Yes.
where are they? So, yeah, I think that if we do
More
some
of that.
more reading comprehension and practice with that too, locating information in dense paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe
I think
we
it's
should,
perfect.
we should do it as a do now every other day.
I think that reading a dense paragraph for a do now
This is right too.
will not be effective because of how they come in and out
Oh, okay.
in the morning.
But
You
every-
know, like it's
So
such
usually
a
that's
struggle.
split.
Yeah, it's
That's
such a
fine.
struggle to get them to do a do now in 5 minutes
Mhm.
because they futz around in the hallway.
Mhm.
But
Understood.
I would like to address that issue.
Yes, absolutely.
We have to address that.
It is getting better because I know the hallways in general are moving a little quicker. I know the seventh period transition is still
we're
crazy.
getting them in there, but it's still, I know,
Yeah.
the
You
kids
know
from
what,
other
they're
classes.
fidgety also, and, you know, I mean, what we've been doing is seriously closing the door and walking them late.
That's exactly what you should do, and then let us deal with it on the outside.
Yeah, and when they leave, we cut.
That's exactly
Maggie
what
must cut in.
That's
If
what
they
we've
leave
been
for more than a
doing.
few minutes.
I'm sorry, but we've
We've been-
actually been following the directions that we're being given.
We've been more than fair with students, and hearing them out and everything, and now it's the end of March, and we need to like get going a little bit, right? It's not
Right.
fair to the kids who do the right thing every time they're asked to.
Well, that's it too. You know, like with the 7th period especially, the 10th graders that are in there come from advisory.
So they're
they're
good.
right here, and then they're like,
Right.
you know, it's dead time for them.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a you guys issue. That's a school systems issue because it's just not realistic to think we'll clear the cafeteria and have the kids in advisory come in at the same time because obviously it's going to take longer for the other kids.
But
I can help think through things we can do with them for that 10 minutes, maybe like an extra credit reading or something like
Yeah.
that, just so they're
yes, yeah.
engaged. Like they shouldn't at all be penalized for
Right.
anything.
And I think we do somehow we do get the lesson we want done in this class.
Good.
40 minutes we have or whatever that we really do get it done because we know what we have to, like we already prepared for these next steps, you know. So we do get a lot of content through and a lot of the lesson through that period, even though they come in late.
Right, and even today when I was trying to explain it, you were able to rephrase it in another way that worked for them with the OHs and Hs.
Yeah.
I also just want to, like, 2 seconds, just want to frame how amazing these meetings are getting, right? Like, straight to content, straight to student engagement, straight to student achievement, and I just appreciate working with both of you
Thank you.
wholeheartedly. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Take care.